When we were planning this particular conference, one of the issues that we wanted to address is one that's talked about privately a lot, but not publicly a lot. And more, very interestingly, one of the things that I've been doing, particularly at Goldman Sachs, I know it happens with many other of the large global companies, is focusing on Asian values in the workplace. And we came up with the title of this roundtable called Managing Asian Talent in Global Companies, Confucian Tigers. So look, this is quite a nuanced title, so let me just break it down because I think you have that appreciation. I know both Michelle and the panelists already do, but let me just give you the perspective of the conference co-chairs when we were pulling this together. Managing Asian talent in global companies is that basically our view is that in many cases the Asian talent in global companies, many of them don't feel that they've had the opportunity to reach their full potential. That in some respects the view is that the people that they're surrounded by and some of the people that judge and manage their careers don't have a full appreciation of what it's like to be Asian. So therefore their behaviors may be misconstrued or misjudged and not always in a positive way. And then we've had a colon called Confucian Tigers, and this is not a mythical animal. A Confucian tiger, in the way we put it together, is a bit of an oxymoron, and it was done on purpose. Confucian typically means introspective, very thoughtful, very savvy. And tiger basically means aggressive, assertive, get it done, very capable. But when you look at an Asian professional in the organization, you look at him and you say Confucian, very introspective, i.e. stereotyped, but you never really think about the tiger aspect. And you don't think about the full capability that that particular person can bring to the organization, even though that person is thinking exactly that. So that's the notion that we wanted to bring to this particular roundtable. I know that the panelists are very well briefed, and we have a very illustrious panel. We're frankly delighted that Michelle Caruso-Cabrera, from the anchor of CNBC, and I just met her, but I told her I've seen her many, many times, was kind enough to join us and to moderate this particular panel. Shelly Lazarus, the chairman of Ogilvy and Mather, someone I've worked with for decades.
Although we're very young, Jim, since you were 5.
John Chen, who was the chairman of the Committee 100 and chairman and CEO of Sybase. Jenny Ming, the chairman and CEO of Charlotte Russe, former chairman of Old Navy. And Rob Leary, the president and COO of ING Insurance. So, turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming, everybody. So Lulu sent me over a great study that is going to give us a lot of fodder for this discussion from the Journal of Applied Psychology. And they ask a really great question. They point out, okay, Asians are 5% of the population, but they are less than 1/3 of 1% of executive positions, and they are less than 1% of board positions as well. That is, even though Asians are better educated than every other group in America and make more money than every other group in America. I mean, with those two last characteristics, you might think that they would actually over-index in management positions, right? But they don't, just the opposite. So why is that? And so the Journal of Applied Psychology goes through a lot of perception studies, and I'm going to whittle it down for you, and they come up with what is the brand of Asian talent. We don't know if it's accurate or not, but this is the perception of the brand. Competent, consistent, conscientious, objective, well-informed, rational, self-controlled, socially introverted, passive, emotionally distant, reserved. Is that right? Is it not? Is that part of the problem? So we've got, go ahead. Go ahead, start.
No, I was just going to say, so when I read all this, this was sent to me, I thought, oh, that's just stereotyping. That's ridiculous. You know, it's just sort of because I work in a firm that is so global that I don't even see these kinds of differences. And then in my mail came New York Magazine this week. And on the cover, let me read this to you. This is a quote. The name of the title of the article is Asian Like Me. It's by Wesley Yang, who looks like late 20s, I'd say early 30s. And here is how it starts. Here is what I suspect my face signifies to other Americans, an invisible person, an icon of so much that the culture pretends to honor, but that in fact patronizes and exploits. Not just people who are, quote, good at math, but a mass of stifled, repressed, abused, conformist quasi-robots who simply do not matter. And then I thought, if this is what the Asian Americans actually think of themselves, then perhaps we do have an issue.
Yeah.
So let me just start that way. Just
what I got was a lot of Confucian, not enough tiger. Right?
Right.
So we got two people here who have overcome all of this. John Chen is legendary, as we all know. But he's in engineering, so it fits, right? Jenny is, a superstar in retail, which, when you read this journal study, they don't perceive Asians to be very good at retail, apparently. So give us some of your sense of, is this an accurate stereotype?
It is a stereotype. I think we all agree with that. And I think it's, if I didn't know better, I would think this survey is taken like 30 years ago. And I like to think that we have moved beyond that. But unfortunately, sometimes perception is what a lot of people think is reality. I was telling them a story. It happened certainly to me. And I think we have given a lot of opportunity, but sometimes that we don't always step up to it. So as some of you know, I actually was in Gap Inc. for 20 years. And I was very fortunate to be part of the team that started Old Navy. There was 4 of us, 3 Caucasian men and myself. I was the merchant. And through the years, we ran a very successful business. And I was asked, would you ever think about being president? And I'm like, oh, no, not me. I don't think so. We're doing so well together. I don't think so. And I turned down the job. And a year later, they were interviewing for the president of that division. And I said, gosh, if someone came in and took that job, I would be really bummed. But you know what? I never felt that I was good enough or that I should take that position because everything was working so well that I shouldn't make waves or I shouldn't be the one who's stepping up while all 4 of us actually created this. I think this is very typical of us Asian feeling that way. And I finally, a year later, during my review, and I said, you know what? And I actually was working for Mickey Drexler, who is, if you're in retail, is really the guru of retailing. And I said, you know what, is that job, the president of Old Navy, still open? He said, yes. And I said, you know what, I really want to do it. And he said, well, it's about time. So, I mean, seriously, I think if I was a white Caucasian male, I probably would never think twice about it.
So I would say I blame myself a little bit. But is it a little bit true then?
Yes. I have to say that for myself. And this, of course, is like, what, 10, 15 years ago. Today, I would never stand for it.
Good.
So I'm just telling I'm just telling you this is because I think it is stereotyping because we are always taught to be passive, be humble, even when we deservedly have that position. And I think it took me a long time to realize that. And obviously the reason I'm telling you this story because I think is true. I think we crave some of that and we need to really break that stereotyping.
John?
Well, first of all, I know the study is from Brown.
No, it's from Southern California. Sorry.
Oh, Southern California. Okay. I thought it was originally. I was mistaken. It was from Brown. I told him that. If it's from Brown, it's way too liberal a school.
Southern
I'm from Brown, so I mean I could say that. I'm the only one who could say that here. This panel. Anyway, I pointed out to various people that it's really you're talking about the relative of time. Be careful on the stereotype. I mean, I'll take all that great qualities you talk about. It makes a great son-in-law, by the way. I was listening and said, because my mother-in-law really would approve. When they look through, yes, you could marry my daughter. Let me see. Introvert, quiet, smart, makes a lot of money. Oh, geez. Okay. But it's a relative thing. I mean, I started as an engineer, stereotype, partly because my father told me to be an engineer, and I like engineering, and I've done pretty well, and all my progression is an engineering track, technical track. I remember, as I pointed out a number of times, that these big corporations at the time, I'm not going to tell you when, but at the time, go to great lengths in making sure that people like us is comfortable in liking our job by having parallel tracks.